Welcome to 19th century Russia. There's a war going on, but don't worry because here we have chandeliers and caviar. This is Andre. He isn't here. He's off fighting in the war. This is Natasha, a beautiful young countess who is Andre's fiancée. Sonia is pure and good, also Natasha's cousin and best friend. Maria is old school and strict, but kind. She's Natasha's godmother. This is Anatole. He's really hot and spends most of his time drinking and picking up women. Helene is a slut and Anatole's sister. Dolokhov is a pretty brave dude, but not very important to the plot. He's Anatole's right-hand man. Old Prince Bolkonsky is just a crazy old guy, and his daughter Mary is plain and loyal. They are Andre's father and sister. And Balaga's just in there for a crazy dance number. And now Pierre, who kind of knows everyone. He's married to Helene, but they are in love. That makes him Anatole's brother-in-law. He's a family friend of Natasha's and has some one-sided affections for her. He's also Andre's best friend. And just in case you forget all of this, it's literally in your program, look it up. Pierre is a sad and depressed man that spends most of his time drinking and reading in his study. But we can't focus on him now because Natasha and Sonia just arrived in Moscow. They're staying with Maria until their husbands return from the war. And Maria is very happy to have them. She's also really happy that Natasha is marrying Andre. But since it's rude to enter a family without a father's approval, aka Bolkonsky is not very peachy about the marriage arrangement. She tells Natasha to go visit them. If Mary likes her, so will Bolkonsky. Mary spends her days tending to her old and alien father, which isolates her from the rest of her life. Natasha arrives, and neither of them like each other very much. Bolkonsky doesn't like her either. He says some rude stuff to Natasha and leaves. Natasha also leaves and, feeling awful about what happened with Andre's family, remembers the night they first met in the snow under the moon. But no time for reminiscing because Natasha, Sonia, and Maria are going to the opera. Natasha's enjoying the opera but becomes pretty overwhelmed by it. Helene and Dolokhov are also there, but that's not important. What's important is that Anatole arrives, and he's got his eyes on Natasha. He visits her in the box and starts flirting, and it's working. He invites her to a costume ball in a couple days. Natasha is hesitant about it, but don't worry because there's nothing going on between them. After the opera, Anatole invites Pierre to the club to go drinking. Pierre is like, hell yeah, and the two of them plus Helene and Dolokhov head to the club to rave. Anatole is still swooning over Natasha and asks Helene to help him make her go to the ball. Pierre is having a dandy time drinking until he sees Dolokhov and Helene hitting on each other. He gets really mad and challenges Dolokhov to a duel. Dolokhov gets shot, but not too badly. He goes to shoot at Pierre, who is 100% ready to die at this point, but he misses. Dolokhov is escorted away by Anatole and Helene, and after that, Pierre reflects on his feelings of depression and ideas of death. He then realizes that he doesn't want to continue this manner of thought. Sunday morning, Sonia and Natasha play the Candle in the Mirror Will Tell Your Future game. They don't have time to do this for long because it's Sunday morning, time for church. But the game still causes Natasha to think anxiously about her future. She wonders if Andre will make it home okay and if it's alright to be feeling a little more than mildly attracted to Anatole. She decides to get her minds off of things by trying on new dresses. Knock knock, who's at the door? Not Andre, it's Helene. She barges in and compliments Natasha to no end. She shows her how pretty she is when she's all dressed up and convinces her to go to the ball. So Natasha goes to the ball. While there, Anatole tells her that he loves her, but Natasha is still hesitant about the situation. He kisses her, and poor naive Natasha thinks that they must be in love because of it. End Act 1. Still with me? Good. Let's take a 5-second intermission. Time for Act 2. Welcome back to 19th century Russia, where we write letters. Everyone is writing letters. Pierre is writing to Andre, asking how the war is, and wishing he were there. Natasha tries to write to Andre, but can't figure out what to say after what's happened between her and Anatole. Mary writes to Natasha, apologizing for what happened between them, and accepting her into the family. Natasha attempts to write back, but still doesn't know what to say or do. Anatole is writing letters to Natasha. Love letters. He asks her to elope with him, and Natasha agrees. Sonia eventually finds the letter and confronts Natasha about the situation. Natasha doesn't see anything wrong despite Sonia's argument, and they fight. Afterwards, Natasha writes to Mary that she is refusing Andre's engagement. Sonia decides that she must protect Natasha and will tell Maria about what's going on because she is pure and good. Meanwhile, Anatole is preparing for the elopement and asks Pierre for some money. Pierre doesn't know it's Natasha he's after and helps out, but he's skeptical since Anatole is a married man. While preparing, Dolokhov makes a last-minute attempt to convince Anatole that this really isn't a good idea, but it doesn't work. Now Balaga is here. Get your egg shakers ready. Balaga begins driving Anatole and Dolokhov to Natasha's house. And don't even worry about what happens during the abduction, just go with it. Finally, they arrive and Anatole goes to fetch Natasha. Who's at the door? Still not Andre, it's Maria, and she is mad. Anatole and Dolokhov flee, and Maria gives Natasha the scolding of her life. Natasha still doesn't understand the gravity of the situation and hides in her room. Maria softens up afterwards, but still needs to take care of Anatole. She calls Pierre and tells him what's going on. Pierre is furious and agrees to help. He looks all over and eventually finds Anatole with Helene. He's officially done with Helene at this point and threatens Anatole. He tells him that he must leave Moscow as soon as possible. Anatole then leaves the next day for Petersburg! Pierre goes to visit Natasha, who is very sick. After finding out that Anatole is married, she poisoned herself in shame. However, she instantly regretted it and told Maria and Sonia. They were able to get doctors there in time to save her, but she's still very weak. And what's more, Andre is here. He's finally returned from the war and has a short talk with Pierre. He's pretty cold and torn up about the situation, and that's about it. Pierre then goes to see Natasha, who is feeling similarly hopeless to how Pierre has been. He tells her that if he were a better man, he would ask her to marry. His kind words spark some life back into Natasha. Pierre leaves feeling more awake than he has in a long time, and upon entering the street, the Great Comet of 1812 shines across the sky. The comet is said to bring fear and the end of the world, but through it, Pierre sees the start of a new life.